The Galactic Council's emergency session had been called for the third time in as many cycles. Ambassador Zethkar of the Vorthak Empire tapped his crystalline claws against the obsidian table, the sound echoing through the vast chamber like rain on metal. Around him, representatives from 47 species shifted uncomfortably in their atmospheric suits and environmental pods. The human colony on Kepler 442b must be evacuated, declared High Arbiter Velnoth, her multiple eyes focusing independently on the holographic display. Our calculations are absolute. The stellar flares from their binary system will render the planet uninhabitable for the next 50 standard cycles. The display showed devastating projections, crop failures, atmospheric ionization, and temperature drops that would freeze most carbon-based life forms. Every mathematical model, every quantum computation, every predictive algorithm reached the same conclusion: extinction. The evacuation fleet is already en route, added Commander Thysse of the Rescue Corps, his aquatic suit bubbling with agitation. We've allocated transport for all 50,000 human colonists. They'll be relocated to designated refugee sectors. Ambassador Zethkar nodded approvingly. The Vorthak had survived 3 such stellar catastrophes in their history, but only through immediate evacuation and decades of nomadic existence. It was the only logical response. What is the human government's response? Asked the Arbiter. An uncomfortable silence fell over the chamber. Finally, Communications Officer Prexty activated her translation matrix. The human colonial administrator has declined evacuation. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and electromagnetic pulses, the galactic equivalent of shocked gasps. Declined? Zethkar's voice resonated with disbelief. Do they not understand the data? We've run these calculations through 17 different quantum matrices. Administrator Sarah Chen requested to speak directly to the council. Prexty continued, her tentacles writhing nervously. She's on approach now. Minutes later, the small human transport docked with the council station. Sarah Chen entered the chamber, a small bipedal creature barely reaching the shoulder height of most representatives, wearing nothing more than a simple environmental suit. Her species was young, having achieved interstellar travel only 3 centuries ago. Yet they had spread across dozens of worlds with unsettling determination. Honored council members, Sarah began, her voice carrying through the translation network with unusual confidence. We appreciate your concern and the generous offer of evacuation. However, New Eden Colony will remain. Zethkar leaned forward, his massive form casting shadows across the human. Administrator Chen, our projections show a 99.97% probability of total crop failure. Your people will starve. Sarah's lips curved upward, the human expression called a smile. With respect, Ambassador, your projections assume we'll continue farming the way we have been. She activated her own holographic display, and suddenly, the chamber was filled with incomprehensible diagrams, underground growing facilities, geothermal energy networks, and atmospheric processors of designs no one had ever seen. You're looking at winter, Sarah continued. We're looking at opportunity. The stellar radiation will indeed kill surface crops, but it will also supercharge our geothermal systems. We're retrofitting our entire agricultural infrastructure to go underground and use the planet's increased volcanic activity as an energy source. High Arbiter Velnoth's eyes swiveled in confusion. Underground agriculture is theoretical at best. The energy requirements alone were solved by our engineers 6 months ago, Sarah interrupted. We've been preparing since the first flare predictions. While you calculated evacuation logistics, we calculated how to thrive. She manipulated the display, showing vast underground caverns filled with vertical farms, their walls lined with bioluminescent panels powered by geothermal generators. The radiation will actually improve our soil composition for certain crops. We'll be producing triple our current yield within 2 cycles. Commander Thysse's aquatic suit bubbled frantically. But the atmospheric ionization will disrupt all communications. You'll be completely isolated. For 18 months, Sarah nodded. We've prepared for that too. Hardened communication arrays, quantum encrypted backup systems, and enough supplies to last 5 cycles if necessary. When the storm passes, we'll emerge stronger than before. The chamber fell silent except for the ambient hum of life support systems. Zethkar studied the humans' plans, cross-referencing them with Vorthak databases. The engineering was unprecedented, not just in its ambition, but in its complete reversal of conventional survival logic. "This is madness," he finally whispered. "Every species in galactic history has responded to such catastrophes through evacuation and preservation. You're talking about expansion during extinction." Sarah's smile widened. "Ambassador, with respect, that might be why humans have established successful colonies on worlds that 47 other species have deemed uninhabitable. When the universe presents us with winter, we don't just survive it, we plant seeds in the snow." She gestured to her display one final time. "In 4 cycles, when the stellar activity stabilizes, New Eden won't just be alive, we'll be exporting food to half the sector. You planned for our harsh winter. We planned for our harvest." The human collected her equipment and headed for the exit. At the threshold, she paused and turned back to the stunned assembly. "The evacuation fleet is welcome to stay and observe if they'd like. We'll need trading partners when this is over." As the transport bay doors sealed behind Sarah Chen, Ambassador Zethkar leaned back in his atmospheric suit and considered the implications. In his species-long history, they had survived by fleeing from the universe's harsh realities. Humans, it seemed, survived by embracing them. 3 cycles later, the first food shipments from New Eden Colony began arriving at stations throughout the sector. The stellar storms had passed, leaving behind a world transformed, not devastated, but rejuvenated. The humans had indeed planned their harvest, and the galaxy would never quite look at winter the same way again.